Hi, Discovery Church. This is Remi. Good to be with you again for our daily devotional. I hope everybody's mind and mood is being lifted up by the nice sunny days that we had lately. Definitely from my end, I'm originally from the south of France, so anytime I get a chance to catch a bit of sunshine here in Ireland, I'm getting very excited. So it really makes my day. But anyway, good to be with you again. Good to connect. I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts out of my mind. Lately, I've been reflecting a lot during this time of lockdown. I've been reflecting upon myself, but also about the society we live in, our culture, in light of this global pandemic. And there were two things that were coming up to my mind. Is that I think, first of all, we live in a society where we don't like to display our weaknesses. We like to be in control. We don't like when there is a situation that escapes us. We don't like to appear vulnerable, and especially to others. We don't like to share or to show our weaknesses. We like to put a nice and smiley picture of ourselves in Instagram. Really, we don't like to appear weak or display any sort of vulnerability. The second thing, I've noticed is that, we don't like to talk about death and pain and suffering. At least we try to ignore those elements from our life. We like to live for the moments. We keep our mind busy with work and with entertainment, watching movies, Netflix. We're trying to enjoy life as much as we can until, pain or death hits us, really. But we live totally in denial of death and pain. We don't want to talk about it. This is very taboo for us, and we want to be in a pain-free society. And if the pain is too unbearable, then we want to be able to push on a button and put ourselves out of existence. We want to have the control of everything. We don't want to suffer. So that two things, that make me wonder, really, how we are supposed to, as Christians, to think about our weaknesses, about death and pain. Because you can try to ignore it, you can live in denial about the things, but if there are two things that this global pandemic really reminded us that, first of all, we are indeed very much vulnerable and not in control. And secondly, no matter how hard you're trying to avoid or ignore pain or death, I think everybody pretty much, maybe not in Ireland, we're not that impacted, but I know for my home country in France or my wife's country in Brazil, we all know someone who either got the virus or either someone who died or lost a loved one. And as such, all these things has suddenly become very real. And really, I think we really need to pay attention as Christians that what I realize is that the more you're trying to ignore things, the more you're drifting away from God. And I'm going to read the verse, and maybe you're going to see where I'm going with the thought process. The verse I want to read you is Matthew 18, verse 2 to 4. And this is the story of Jesus when his disciples are trying to argue who should be the greatest in the kingdom. And there were some children coming over to Jesus, and the disciples rebuked the children, and Jesus told them, "Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever takes the lowly position of this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me." I think, reading through the Bible and Jesus' teachings, it's not always easy to understand what Jesus wanted to teach us. And I think this verse for me was, for a long time, one of those verses which was always nice to read, but not so easy to understand. And probably sometimes because we ask ourselves the wrong question. I think the question we need to ask is, how does a child come to Jesus? And I believe what Jesus wants you to tell us here is that a child come to him in neediness, in vulnerability, in weaknesses. In fact, that's why we call children dependent, right? Because they depend on us to live, to survive. It was even more true, at this time, at the time of Jesus, where, if a child were losing his parent, an orphan was very vulnerable. And I think, that what Jesus wants to tell us here is that, if you want to experience this kingdom reality, if you want to be able to connect with God, really, you need to be fully dependent upon Him. You have to come with your weaknesses. You have to, and that's where sometimes, we're struggling a bit, because we don't like to be weak. We don't like to appear vulnerable. But Jesus here is telling us that, if you really want to experience this kingdom reality, you need to come to Him as vulnerable. You need to come with your weaknesses, and that, in fact, it's with your manifest weakness that you're strong. As Paul mentioned, I think it's in 2 Corinthians, in my weakness I am strong. You need to understand that it's all surpassing power that you have doesn't come from you, but God. So we need to give out all the control that we have. And as well, we need to understand that, pain, and suffering, in a sense, are not the problem. They are just a signal. They are just a symptom. And we need to pay attention to that. As, C.S. Lewis rightly said, the God whispers in our pleasure. He speaks in our conscience. But it shouts in our pain. It's His megaphone to rouse a deaf form. And in a world of selfie sticks and social media, where we like to live for the moment, and we really focus on the pleasure, I think it's important that we pause to meditate and, trying to reflect and, live away our busyness and leave up our devices or telephones and disconnect from the screens a little, and to reflect that, pain is really not the problem. As G.K. Chester rightly said in an article that was published a while ago, the article was asking, what is wrong in this world? Why there is so much pain and suffering? And G.K. Chester probably wrote the shortest answer, but was probably one of the most impactful. It was, "Dear Sir, I am what is wrong with this world." And the pain is just a signal, a message, from God, just to let us know that, yes, we cannot escape or ignore pain and death. This is the reality of this broken world. But that, it's only through, our weakness, pain, and death, really, that we can connect with our Lord Jesus Christ. If you look at what happened at the cross, it's only when we can associate, the weakness, suffering, and death of Jesus at the cross, that we can really connect and realize that the only thing that can bring us comfort is that our God not only is compassionate and care, for us when we suffer, but He did come in this world to He humiliated Himself to come and suffer among us, and that through His death, suffering, and resurrection, there is hope. There is love, and definitely our life is meaningful and has a purpose. And that, I think, that's the reply we need to bring to this world, who's probably panicking, after everything that happened. But also realize that even as Christians, and sometimes we accept the realities that God is our Lord and Savior, and that we need Him. But sometimes even as Christians, even if we intellectually accept this truth, there is sometimes a misposition with our emotion, with our heart, with everything that the society is feeding us in our subconscious mind. And something I want to tell you is, if you feel that there are some areas where you keep control or you don't want to let go for some reason, I don't know, maybe it's pride or if it's something else, I just want to tell you today that you just need to surrender everything to God, that He is in control, and that you need to be fully dependent on Him. My friend, I want to tell you that what we need to do is to proclaim our declaration of not independence, but dependence upon God. Because God wants to connect with you. He wants to be closer from you. So rather than ignoring your weaknesses, suffering, and pain, you need to connect. And nobody likes to suffer, but you want to reach Him every single area of your life. And to do that, you need to surrender everything to Him, give control on Him, and just declare that you absolutely need to be fully dependent on Him. Humble yourself before Him and give Him all the control that you need. I hope that those single words or simple words will have encouraged you. And I'm hoping that we could meet all together in a short while. But with that, I'm just ending up and closing by telling you, have a good rest of your week. And God bless you all. Talk to you soon. Take care.